Gallery Watch. I'm Naomi Drysdale and we're here tonight at the Norton Gallery in South Fremantle for a very magical exhibition, Helen Norton's No Ark, How Do We Stay Enchanted?
You would not believe your eyes if 10 million fireflies lit up the world as I fell asleep. 'Cause they fill the open air and leave teardrops everywhere. You'd think me.
No Ark. Now, the title sort of got me. I thought, no Ark. No Noah's Ark. And it starts to sort of, well, almost make sense.
Planet Earth turns slowly. It's hard to say that I'd rather stay.
Tonight's a night to celebrate Helen Norton, to celebrate No Ark, to celebrate whimsy, and let's escape, let's have a great time.
Faces, there's a dreamy world up there. Dear friends in
How are you enjoying the exhibition?
Oh, it's beautiful. I've actually not long got here. I've just got off a plane, and so I've come straight here. So I need a chance to have a really good look around.
Oh, that's dedication. That's wonderful. So you must have been looking forward to coming tonight.
Oh, very much. Very.
We'll let you have a look around and we'll maybe speak with you a bit later.
wide eyes will always brighten the blue. Chase.
And how do you feel about tonight's exhibition?
I think it's absolutely delightful, very, very delightful one, and lovely to look at some of Helen's other works from previous. No, it's lovely, yeah.
So do you know Helen, or how have you heard about tonight's exhibition?
We know Helen, yes, and we have some of her paintings and things at home, so we have two of her recent works at home, so yeah.
Do you think you'll be looking at purchasing anything here tonight?
I'm not sure, we're happy looking at her new works and her old tonight, so it's been a lovely evening.
Is there anything that's caught your eye so far?
Oh, lots of things that caught our eye tonight, it's just lovely.
How are you enjoying the exhibition tonight?
I'm loving the exhibition. I'm a huge fan of Helen's. Love her work, love the way she thinks, and yeah, this is just absolutely fantastic. Wonderful.
Are there any pieces that have stood out to you so far?
Well, I am such a fan of Helen's work that I see something different in all of them, so I would have all of them if I could. But as a single piece, no, I think they're just so amazing. Yeah, she's a brilliant artist. Yes.
So what is it that you like and that you sort of connect with in the paintings?
I love her imagination. I like the philosophy behind her work. It's yes, it's like no one else's. It is quite unique.
And how long have you known about Helen's work?
Helen and I lived in Broome, so there was myself, Helen Norton, and another artist, Judy Prosser, three women up there in the Kimberley. And so I've known Helen for a long time and have followed her work, and so I do have a appreciation for it because I've seen just so much growth in the last 30 years. It's been amazing. Yeah.
And how do you say her paintings and her work has evolved or progressed through the years?
Oh, hugely. Helen's growth is massive. She's, gosh, when I knew her, she was doing beautiful watercolours, some lovely bird studies, and you know, she's gone just to a very deep level of art now, and yeah, so I just love that growth in any creative field. So it's in Helen, it's been very dramatic.
What's your impression of, say, for example, that painting here in front of us?
What's my impression of it? Well, it's hard to interpret Helen's work, isn't it? I mean, a lot of it's in her mind. I mean, you know, what is that crab claw doing on that hat? You know, like, it doesn't. None of it makes sense. But when you look, there's so much you just get drawn to. You know what the story is, and they are just so deep and intriguing. It's just, yeah, they're very captivating.
Now, this is Helen Norton. How are you tonight?
Wonderful, thank you.
Now, we're standing in front of one of your paintings. What can you tell us about this?
Actually, this is probably a good painting for us to have a look at to get the overview of where I've been working in regards to some old stories, and this one in particular everyone would recognise as Noah. This work was from a previous exhibition And I became really interested in using very old stories as a result of looking for, I think it's actually a bit of looking for the meaning of life. And I found that in those tales, there were a lot of clues as to how, when life was a lot simpler, how problems were negotiated. I'm a bit of a problem solver, and I was fascinated by the basics, when there was a far less complicated world. And so what I've done with my artwork is I am a narrative painter. I just enjoy exploring stories through imagery and recreating tangents of those stories, an interpretation. And I think a lot of the time it's really me trying to work out the world. I don't know what else do artists do.
You take to the sky.
It's just so powerful. It's so beautiful and wistful, and I love it. Really love it.
And what's your impression of this painting? What do you get an idea or a sense of what you think it's about or what it's trying to say?
Not yet, actually. Yeah, I don't know. I'll ask Helen in a minute.
I think this one sort of, for me, is shows a turning point in her painting right now. It tells me that she really is painting from a good place, and this whole exhibition called No Ark. I just love the title, No Noah's Ark, and using that sort of using that analogy of a problem solved so simply by Noah. He just built a boat, right? We're all going to be annihilated, so. Yep, okay, I'll build a boat and invite everyone that wants to come and join us, and we'll sail away and everyone else will drown, And I thought, this is typical Helen, taking a great story like that we're all familiar with, fable or otherwise, and then saying, how would it translate in today's complex world?
We've got the aspects here of nature being the bears, naturally, but the key points are that you've got Goldilocks. Well, I've used, a fairy tale, which is a human invention, and Noah's Ark, of course, another human invention. And the idea is really man versus nature. So this is probably my way of trying to demonstrate how small we are within nature's forces. And by having the ark just sort of teetering on the edge of the fall, and the complexity and the chaos that goes on in man's mind. And we've got here this huge epic being set about to last forever. We're still talking about it now, and at the same time, the other aspect of humanity of creating fairy tales out of things to, develop meaning and metaphor and morals, So Goldilocks is sulking because she's not being taken notice of, and meanwhile there's another great drama here with the Ark where he's, desperately trying to save the world.
Pretty dramatic.
and there's oversized bears who are going about their daily business. So it probably demonstrates very well what I'm talking about, is that nature is much bigger. And sometimes we forget our place in that scheme.
Helen called me up some time ago and said that she'd like me to come over and open her show, No Ark, at her gallery here in South Fremantle, and I said, "Oh my goodness, that would be lovely. Any reason to come to beautiful Perth?" So here we are, and it's been a wonderful, wonderful night. And as you know, we've just opened the show, and the feedback's been wonderful. And I mean, we show Helen in Sydney and at our gallery, and the challenge is going to be getting an exhibition off Helen as soon as possible, because we're getting very, very impatient. You guys in WA keep buying all her work, but it is wonderful. She's got a lovely following in the East Coast, because she's shown at several lovely galleries over there, and lately at ours. So, we're looking forward to it. Hopefully next year, you know, we should have a lovely show like this one.
As a gallery owner, do you see a lot of that, I guess, you know, taking us away into another world and away from our own lives? Do you find that in a lot of other artists and paintings, or is that something that's, you know, really particular to Helen?
Look, you know, if we could generalise about art, it really is. It's meant to give us that sense of magic. It's meant to be illusional. It's meant to, you know, if it was real and sort of we sat there feeling depressed because it reminds us so truthfully of what is real, you know. So it is about illusion. It's about escape, and fortunately, I'm drawn personally anyway to art that sort of is uplifting. I love what Picasso said. Very simply, he said, the only purpose to art is to cleanse the dust from the soul. And he said, you know, a cleansed soul restores enthusiasm. And what does the youth of today need more than enthusiasm? And he said that in 1927. But it's still true today. You know, the soul, or the only job of art, is really to bring joy and uplift us. I'm in that camp. You know, I love that idea.
Well, thank you very much for sharing with us tonight, Trevor.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Now stay with us, because we'll be back with more of Helen Norton's artwork at the Norton Gallery, South Fremantle, right here on Gallery Watch.